John dies at the end. Justin, feel free to explain it.
Well, all right, we've got 3 movies that we're going to be reviewing here, so I'm going to try and keep this short. And to even try and go into what John dies at the end is all about would take far too long, and you would no more understand it at the end than you would at the beginning. So I'm just going to give you IMDb's very short, succinct summary. A new drug that sends its users across time and dimensions has one drawback. Some people return as no longer human. Can 2 college dropouts save humankind from this silent, otherworldly invasion? Aaron, I know you were kind of excited to see this one because it's directed and written by Don Coscarelli, who also did Bubba Hotep. He's probably more famous as the director and the writer of the Phantasm movies, Beastmaster and whatnot. But Bubba Hotep is what he's most famous, well, probably more famous for now. Mm-hmm. You love that film. And so going into this, I knew you were going to be excited. Did you, what were some of your thoughts on John Dies at the End, if you can even form them into a cogent statement any better than the story itself?
Well, I'll tell you, my brother described this as Donnie Darko-esque, and he couldn't be more right. This movie is all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
Just everywhere.
Essentially, the trailer was.
The street drug they call it soy sauce in the movie, and it dilutes your mind and kind of enables you to experience psychic abilities, to see things others can't. It's really hard to explain. I thought about it all night because I'm really glad Justin got it because I don't want to try to explain it. I like it. I didn't love it, but as it takes a long time to understand what the hell is going on. Would you agree with that? I mean, it took me a good half an hour before I had any indication of what was going on in this movie.
Well, as far as some of the specifics of the story go, it did take a while. I mean, I kind of understood, all right, this is the kind of movie I'm going to be watching. This is the flow. I didn't have a hard time understanding what they were going for and how they were going to go for it. But I constantly found myself irritated. And I, in complete honesty, when I watched this film was not the optimal time to be watching a film like this. It was late at night.
Yeah.
I was fairly tired already. And this kind of movie requires a lot more attention and a bit of vigilance than maybe I was prepared to give it. So I found myself quite often rolling my eyes and being irritated at the film's, and I have to assume the book as well, its attempts at irreverence and winks and nods and just being cute for cute's sake. I can't say that I had a good time watching this, but it was late at night, so it could be more me than the movie. Now, the film, though, has it doesn't star a whole lot of names that a lot of us are going to be familiar with. I think the biggest name actor in it is Paul Giamatti. Clancy Brown is in it as well. People might remember him as the Kurgan from Highlander. Mm-hmm. I actually enjoyed his character and the look of his character quite a bit. And Doug Jones is in it as well. But the 2 leads, Dave and John, were played by a couple of guys that I don't think I could have recognized if you pulled me into an Abercrombie and Fitch store and said, all right, who are they? I would not have known. So did you find their performances in this movie at all riveting, or was just the wackiness of it this real star of the show?
Well, Rob Mays plays the title character of John, and he's okay. I mean, he's fun. He's out there. He's a little wacky. But Chase Williamson actually plays the star of the movie, David Wong, which is funny because the guy who wrote the movie is David Wong, so he named the character after himself. That's pretty funny. He really has the obscene tone of the film down. He seems like from the beginning, he knows exactly what kind of movie it is. I thought he did a great job. Paul Giamatti was great. I thought his character is kind of, he comes in as someone that doesn't understand what the hell's going on, doesn't believe any of it, and then at the end kind of changes his tune. I love his take on it, and Clancy Brown's as well. But those 2 guys were actually, I was pretty impressed with.
Yeah, I would be remiss if I also didn't mention that Clancy Brown also played a character in Lost. So I want to leave that out. The 2 leads, they're all right. I did like Paul Giamatti quite a bit. So that was kind of a lone bright ray of sunshine in this particular film. This was a low budget movie. It didn't have a lot of money to throw at the special effects. And for the tone of this kind of movie, I think that actually worked in its favor. I think if things had been too pretty, too shiny, too glitzy as an ILM could have done, or a big name house, it probably wouldn't have worked as well. This thing needed a little bit of a cheesy tone and look to it. So the production of it, from the direction to the special effects, how did you enjoy that part of it?
This is low budget 80s style filmmaking all the way. It really is. Don Coscarelli, he was a filmmaker born in the 80s, and apparently he never left. It seems like he had a hard time figuring out the tone himself at the beginning, but by the end of the movie, you know exactly what he's going for. It's very much like I would call it Big Trouble in Little China meets Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
Kind of how I would say it.
Right, yeah, that's the most appropriate, probably kind of joining together I could imagine.
Are you saying that is a good thing or is a bad thing?
I'm saying it's a good thing. It's definitely a throwback to the old Carpenter flicks of the 80s and stuff. I mean, it's just crazy. And the special effects, like Justin's, this movie cost $16 to make. I mean, and that's giving it some extra bucks on top of it. I mean, it's $16 maximum. The special effects are funny. They're that bad. I mean, we could make it right now in my basement if you want.
That makes me really want to see it.
It's really cheesy, but like you said, it really works to that effect, to the film's effect, because it increases, what it's going for, the ridiculousness factor, and I think it works. I really think the special effects work for its advantage. It is very much a low budget movie, but I liked it a lot. I liked it a little. I didn't like it a lot.
It also reminded me a little bit, as far as the effects go, to Evil Dead. Kind of the flying eyeball sort of thing. But I will say that using Big Trouble in Little China as a reference, while appropriate, diminishes Little China a little bit for me, because I love Big Trouble in Little China. I'm much more a fan of Carpenter's take on this and perhaps this film. But I guess it kind of leads us to the end, our end verdict. What did you think overall? Would you see it again? And what would you give it if you had to pay 1 out of $10?
Wild, weird, all over the place, but a nice throwback to those crazy Carpenter flicks from the 80s. $10 is a full price admission. I give it $5.50.
I didn't enjoy it as much as I wished I had. I kind of thought going into it that its tongue-in-cheek, ain't I cute thing was going to bother me, and it did. If I had to go to a theater and see it again, I would probably pay $4 to do so. I was not particularly enthralled with this movie, and I doubt I will ever see it again. But who knows? Maybe one day I'll be bored and I'll actually be more awake and prepared for a film like this, and give it another chance. If I do, I'll let you know.